host, you know who, Obaki Hunter, and tonight I am so thrilled. I mean, honest to goodness, I'm always thrilled when we have guests, right? Because such an interesting interaction between curiosity and the results of your questions with people that I've talked to in the past. But one of the things I've always wanted to do is have a conversation with a police officer, because I truly believe that police officers, there's a few select groups of people, at least in my point of view. Rini, it's good to see you. How are you doing tonight? You're always the first person. Um, there's a select few, I think, that actually encounter stuff a lot. Guarantee number one, top tier of the list, law enforcement, because of various scenarios I believe that they have to respond to. The other one would probably be security guards. As a matter of fact, very close person in my life was a security guard, and she went and had some very scary stuff happen. Of course, most of it happens at night. I think people who work in the medical field, if we kind of go backwards a bit, right? If we go back, and thank you for the like, whoever gave that. We were talking about haunted hospitals with Feo Komodo, right? And I believe that nurses and other people that work in hospitals and stuff, they are also a select group of people too. But tonight, I am so glad to bring into this discussion this evening a very dear friend of mine that I've known for several years, that he and I have gone to places. But tonight, the stories that we're going to be starting with will be his own situations that he has encountered himself being a police officer. One of the reasons why I wanted to do these shows is because I really wanted to hopefully be able to illustrate a better understanding of the things that officers have to, again, saying what I mentioned earlier, respond to. So tonight we have Mace Minakawa. Mace is usually in the audience, and he's talking to people on live stream. And I think that's kind of like how I met Mace too, wasn't it? I would live stream and you would pop in or something. Actually, Mace, before we start, and by the way, thank you for coming on this evening. Uh, how did you, how did you discover me? I mean, I'm not like, at the top of the food chain when it comes to the paranormal, but I'm around. There's Mace,
I
by the
think I
way.
saw you on it was Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah, I started talking to you over the Facebook.
Oh, okay, yeah, Facebook, yeah. God, it's just the time span uh, that we are talking about here with me and Mace. A lot of things were kind of like escalating. There was like public. There was a couple of public presentations I had done in the past. I was actually asked to instruct people on interactions in haunted places and stuff. And then Mace came along with all of that. And then eventually, I know me, Mace, and some other people from HPD started to go out. And Mace, first and foremost, what is your take on ghosts and hauntings and everything else? What is your your personal belief on in that, and does it tie into anything that's spiritual or personal to you?
Mm, I guess I've been running into it my whole life, so
Mm.
it's not nothing that's scary to me or anything.
Mm.
Interesting.
Hmm. Some
Ran
people,
into it quite a bit during work.
oh, I believe that. Some people have like family spirits, familial family spirits that they encountered and stuff like that. And I know that with the sharing that you've given on Facebook and such, I know you have family type spirits. Did it with the family type spirits that you encountered? Was this like an after fact in your life, like later on, or did you encounter anything that could have even be considered ancestral by nature or anything like that when it came to ghosts?
mm, my mom was into that stuff too, so she kind of got me into it.
Oh, okay. Okay, so spiritual.
And it's always been around, our family.
Yeah, 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 yeah. There's some people that's just like that. It's just that's just how it actually turns out. Hey, Obaki and guest Mace, Hope you have a great show. Thank you, J Mac. Appreciate it. Good to have everybody here this evening as we prepare to really dive into um, something that I felt was very important to look at, and that is spirits and how they affect people that are out on patrol doing their job and the surprises that they come across. For you though, I guess eventually you decided to get into law enforcement and everything. And was there a specific thing that triggered you to decide to do that at all? And I'd like to hear a little bit about that.
Well, when I was working at the supermarket when I was in high school,
Mm-hmm.
one of my coworkers was going out with a police officer, so she introduced me to him. I kind of hung around with him, and I said, "Hey, it's kind of what I want to do."
Oh,
So he
okay.
helped me
Mm-hmm.
get in.
Oh, cool. I remember another friend of mine told me that when you go to the academy and then you train to become a police officer and stuff, his input on it was it's tough training. You might as well be looking at military and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
is that what it was like?
it's pretty much like a boot camp, but you get to go home at 4 o'clock.
Oh, okay, okay. Speaking of which, as we might as well, get into your encounters even with. Well, let's talk about that first. The academy where the police officers go through boot camp and everything. It has its own reputation of being haunted. Yeah, with
Oh yeah,
that,
yeah.
yeah, and with that said, if you were to go to like 1 through 10 scale, right, as far as what you've been told and what you've encountered, how haunted is the police academy?
It's about an 8.
An 8.
Yeah.
Holy jeez.
Yeah,
Huh.
I mean, there's stuff that's happening, but if you're not really looking for it, you won't see it. But if you're looking for it, they'll make yourself known.
Mm. And I believe that because okay, the other thing too I want to point out to people, and feel free to go to watch those as well. I know HPD Ghost Stories has a YouTube presence, and if you like, go ahead and take a look at that. I believe there's also stories on the HPD Ghost Stories channel that talks about the haunting at the police academy. So I think you get double your workout, I guess. I mean, you have to kind of like go through the whole thing of becoming a police officer, and I guess maybe with some of the people that you've gone to boot camp with, uh, they've they've had encounters or something like that, or you guys didn't talk about it much.
Then as a recruit, you're kind of more focused on what you're supposed to your academy studies and your whatever you're doing in front of you. So when I was a recruit, I didn't really notice anything like that. It was when I came back to work at the academy
Mm-hmm.
when we actually saw stuff there.
Mm-hmm. There's
Because when you're a recruit, everything is you're so focused on your book work and your the physical, like the driving and the shooting, all that kind of stuff that you don't really notice what's going around you, that kind of thing.
yeah.
But when you work there, it's so totally different because you're there after hours and you're in the early morning hours and the late night hours.
Wow. The haunting though. Well, this is from what I've seen and everything. Is doesn't it sometimes specific? Like, it doesn't have to do with a former employee or something of the facility.
They said there's a security guard that passed away, not at the academy, but while he was working at the academy, but not he didn't pass away at work.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess he was so dedicated that he kept showing up at work. I
Wow.
never personally saw a security guard, but people say they seen him walking around the jogging track that goes around the facility.
Mm-hmm.
But he's wearing his uniform shirt, smoking his cigar, but he has no legs.
Wow.
He's kind
Um,
of just floating around there.
that's cool. Okay. By the way, thank you everyone that's coming in and leaving messages. Brenda says my grandson stayed overnight at the academy. Ooh. Anything happened, Brenda? Like the Because I mean, I know that it's one of those places that it does produce apparitions and stuff. Is there like other? Wait, as far as I know, I think also the spirit. I don't know if it's the same one that's the security guard, but there's a spirit who lurks at the academy, and they gave it like a Hawaiian name and
That's
such.
the security guard, Makala.
Maka'ala, that's it.
Yeah,
Maka'ala, the name. That's right, Maka'ala.
that's the security guard. It means the watcher.
Oh, really? Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
Phew, man. But as far as you know, it's just Maka'ala, or is there others?
Supposedly there's a female too that comes around late at night, but I haven't seen that one either.
That the old lady.
Yeah, I think it's on the HPD Ghost Stories YouTube.
Yeah. You know, I when it comes to ghosts, yeah, I think the ones that scare me the most uh, are like you're doing your job, whatever your occupation is, and you run into like I think the one I saw in the HPD ghost stories, whoever they picked to play the old lady. God dang it! I was like, I was pretty much nervous just looking at the story unfolding itself, and because old lady, right? There's two things I think happen in the mind of people if you encounter an old lady at night. One, maybe you want to help her out because something may have happened to her, and two, the other thing that could be the case is, well, maybe she's not exactly here with us, but still here. That's it's kind of like what I think. So that's really, really interesting that there's two, well, diverse spirits, but then again, that happens a lot too. So everything started from there, and I guess what it was a gradual thing where you were like seeing weird things or experiencing weird things. What was the first thing that made you think, well, I'm at work and I guess I have to adapt to ghosts and everything showing up? What was one of the first things for you?
Later, I guess one time when we had recruit training, when I was assigned to the academy
Yeah,
as an officer,
yeah,
we were closing up one night. It must have been about maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, and our supervisor came in and said, "Hey, you guys supposed to have locked up the gym already." And we said, "We did lock up the gym." He goes, "Oh, come on, the windows are open and the lights are on." So we're like, "Oh." So we went back, we locked up the doors again, shut off all the lights, came back downstairs. As soon as we got back to the office building, we look up, all the windows are open again, all the lights are on. uh,
That's like trickster, I guess. Yeah, when they do stuff like that.
yeah.
I know the other thing that's said, because I know, like, as I know you have family stuff that happened, but the other thing that was mentioned that kind of makes me think about that, what you've shared in the past, is sometimes spirits will do something to get you to at least acknowledge them. And I think sometimes there was I read a book by Ed and Lorraine Warren, and I believe Lorraine was explaining that spirits get frustrated when they're not seen and stuff like that. Do you think that that's kind of like what might be happening, that spirit wants attention, or do you think it's just a trickster?
Yeah, no, that's kind of my outlook on it. And people tell us, like, when people always come in and ask us if they need help, and they say they see stuff around their house and stuff, and they're scared. Most of the time, I try and tell them, don't be scared. It's probably something just trying to get your attention. Unless they're doing something really malevolent, they're doing bad stuff to you, then most of the time I think they're just trying to get attention or they're trying to tell you something.
Yes, yes.
That's why a lot of times when we go into places, I'm not really scared. It's just I'm trying to find out what they're looking for.
Oh, okay. Chuck Lee, I'm sorry because it popped up. Chuck Lee said, and it kind of ties in because, like I said, me and Mace have actually gone out and worked on different locations. Chuck Lee says, "Did you ever experience Hawaiian warriors at the Poly Lookout? And could you share any other experiences of that area?" Good question because it's another infamous location. Uh, what are your thoughts on that? Have you seen them, or have you even maybe kind of felt that there was some kind of presence that could be connected with that, or anything like that?
It's a party.
Yeah.
Uh, I I never really worked in that area. I mean, I've been up there, and we've gone up there on nighttime when it was still open.
Mm-hmm.
I never really saw anything there. It was Hawaiian Warriors, more like Cocoa Head.
Oh shit! Yeah, yeah, that's right.
They worked out there
Yeah, let's
at my house.
yeah let's talk. Let's do that because that came up as a question. And thank you for the questions, by the way. Really appreciate it. So I love having live streams. You guys can get together and talk with us, and talk amongst each other. Great question. So why I'm interested in that is I remember a couple weeks ago, right when we were about to do our Tantalus location. By the way, guys, before going any further, go ahead and check out my YouTube. There's a very short video that announces and shows my haunted doll that was with us that night up at Tantalus. She did not play a really large role that night because of what Lopaka had shared, and I wanted to respect that. And that is that there was it was the night of the marchers, Polkani night or
Yeah.
something along those lines. So, in that regards, I was kind of experiencing something that night, but we can talk about that later. I don't know if you did, but I heard stuff. You
Yeah,
know?
check out the Ghost of Hawaii Facebook page. I posted 2 videos up there from that night.
Yes, 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 yes,
The
yes.
little Menehune showing up on the ground and a hula dancer at the church.
Yeah, I remember that. So, if you folks are really interested in that, looking at Mace's evidence, which I found interesting, go ahead and go to my Facebook page, Ghosts of Hawaii, haunted. Yes, that's the second time I said it. I haunt my own page, hosted by Obaki Hunter, who will one day haunt his own page.
Haunted sounds good.
Haunt,
Haunted sounds good.
haunted by Obaki Hunter. Yeah, prepping for the afterlife early, ladies and gentlemen. It's exactly what I'm all about. But yeah, pretty cool, and yeah, go ahead and check it out. Go over there, join if you like. All you have to do is answer 3 questions. How simple is that? 3 questions, boom, you're in, and you can be a member of that group. The people post there. Mace has posted a fantastic SLS imagery type evidence. I think it was Pro City High School, and then now at Tantalus itself. And
The hula dancer one was pretty cool.
I saw it. So
So my old beat partner told me a psychic told him there's always a hula dancer dancing by the driveway. So we set up the SLS, and sure enough, there it is.
I remember that. I was like, that was interesting. Yeah, it's nice when you go out with people that are police officers and stuff. They're one of the, I think sometimes there is a misconstruement, about the shield and everything that they wear and, doing their job. Some people are apprehensive, but if you just take the time to get to know them, I've talked to a few officers that had some pretty interesting stories about what they've encountered. Getting back to real quick here, Mace, what Chuck Lee said about experiencing Hawaiian warriors and stuff at the Pali Lookout. One night we were up there, and this squad car I'm sorry, we were up at Jet Trail, not at the Pali, but the squad car pulls over to check on us and started, asking some questions. Said, "Oh, well, we're doing some paranormal work," and he started talking about the Pali Lookout. It's like, hey, remember the story I told you? He's like, hey, man, when I go up there, honestly, I have to wait for my partner to pull up with me, because when we park up there at the gate, because now the old Pali is closed, when we park up there at night at the gate, you hear scary things coming from the other side of the gate. And then a few years ago, not exactly Hawaiian, but kind of ties in maybe as a attachment spirit from the academy. Maybe not. This is all downloads I'm getting in my head, not talking to Mace. Maybe one of the people that was a recruit there had that spirit, because there was an old lady spirit at the academy, but it showed up at the lookout and scared the officers that were there. And I've heard about the other sightings of like old ladies and stuff like that lurking in the area as well. So, but hopefully that answers your question, because again, the officer was very, very sincere in saying, I will not park up there because I hear drums and everything. And anyone that knows anything about Hawaiiana and stuff, because I know Mace knows a lot about it, and I think the expert on Hawaiian spiritual experience and stuff would definitely be Lopaka. But if you talk to people, they'll tell you that the battle was up there and a lot of stuff happened. I'm really shocked. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Lopaka would have more details or someone like that. If there are night marcher encounters at the old Pali Lookout, because I've never really truly heard of that, but who knows? I mean, who really knows? But getting back to Coco Head, Mace. So you had people tell you, and you've seen night marches up there as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
The guy that worked there for many years, a civilian employee. When I first started working up there, we used to work late at night. So we'd be there like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then the first time we were inside his shop, it's a closed shop. There's no windows, and there's a double door, so the wind can't come in there. So we're sitting in there working on guns, and all of a sudden this wind comes right through the shop. I mean, cold wind blowing papers around and everything. So I was wondering, how did here? I turn around and I see him throwing all his papers and stuff in his bag, and he says, "Let's go." And just like that, he said, "Let's go, pack up your stuff, let's go." I said, "Okay, whatever." So I packed up my bag and then turned off the lights, locked up, and we got out of there. He said, "Meet me at the driveway." So we went up to the driveway, and he told me, "Whenever the wind comes through like that, get out of there as soon as, because they're giving you warning. Get out."
Ooh.
So yeah, that happened a couple of times when we were there. So we're the only two there late at night like that.
Did you see torches or anything like that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Up by the railroad track going up the side of the mountain, you see torches sometimes.
Can I ask you, were the torches going uphill or were they coming down the mountain?
They're coming down the mountain towards the inside of the crater. I
Wow.
think they come down through the crater and then to the ocean, yeah.
Yeah.
So the opening, it goes right out to the ocean.
Wow.
It's pretty trippy.
Yeah, I mean, I remember for myself, just when it comes to night marchers, um, where is this again? Well, excuse me, let me see here. Where is this again? I'm sorry, if you can reference your question, was it Annie? Annie? If you can rephrase your question, I might be able to answer that for you. Where is this again? The Cocoa Head Crater is. I mean, Cocoa Head Crater has a shooting range or something, right?
Yeah, it's closed. I think it's closed down now.
Since COVID.
No, they're doing kind of lead testing or something.
Oh, okay. I know.
Yeah.
I know for a fact there's really strong energy at that range. I know that's one of the things that really kind of like made me get into what you were talking about too. Is the whole idea that at any particular
Anyway, we saw all kind of stuff.
where at the range.
The time I took you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what part of the range? Oh, what part of the range was this activity taking place at?
In the shooting range area. So whatever face is the shooting range, but it was on the Cocoa Head side of the ridge
Wow.
where the railroad track, the hiking trail is.
Yeah. When it went. Yes. Wow.
So it's kind of following the railroad tracks coming down.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of the night marchers, because a lot of people are so invested into that. Night marchers, I think the one thing that we have to just remember about it is, well, like what Mace is expressing is how it can be just so. I mean, for the people that are well informed, they have an idea where they march, what time, and everything. But for a lot of people, because you live here in Hawaii, you definitely will be surprised, and I mean surprised when they show up. Like your friend knew exactly what he was doing. He packed up and said, "Let's get out of here." You know, so
To me, they always will give you a warning.
yeah.
It's the guys that don't take the warning that run into trouble again.
Yeah, because I mean they are scary. Okay, so let's kind of talk about one of the most impressive things to you that you experienced going, because I mean you shared some great stuff. I remember the Halloween event, that automatic winner
Oh
to
yeah,
Mace Minakawa for his story that he shared. Um,
I can tell that story
yeah, yeah,
again.
yeah, 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 yeah. We got time. Let's talk about that. Go right ahead. So check this out, guys. Listen to this one.
Oh, it actually ties into, you know how I always say, those stories don't always have to be spooky,
Yes.
right? You don't always have to be scared because sometimes it's just meant to be. But this one, we got caught on suspicious circumstances up in Paua, and it was about 5, 6 o'clock at night. So we drove up there, and the neighbor next to the house that it was supposed to be at came out and said, "Oh, I called," and he said the lights keep going off and on inside the house, and it's not nobody's supposed to be in the house. That's all he told us. So we're like, "Oh, okay." So we walk up to the house, and the front of the house, there's a long driveway going into the front, and you can tell it's the old Japanese style house with the bamboo and a little rock garden in front. Quite fun. It's not dried up already, but you see it was like a Japanese house style house. So we walk up, the front door is locked, and then the guy gave us a key, but it didn't work. The lock was all rusty. So we decided to go around and try to get in through the back door because there was a glass sliding door. So we were getting ready to go through. The grass was really tall. It was maybe about 3 feet, 4 feet tall. So we're trudging through the grass, and about halfway to the backyard, both of our my partner and I flashlight both were dead. So it's getting kind of dark already, and we're like, oh man. So I take out my second flashlight that I had on my belt. So we make it to the back door, we climb over the railing, and then right before we get into the glass door, my second flashlight goes dead.
Ooh.
So we're like, okay, what's going on here? So we jimmy the door open, and then we look inside. We go inside. We look inside. It's all dark. Try the lights. The lights don't go on. So we look down the hallway. The last room at the end of the hallway, the lights on in the bedroom. So we're thinking, oh, somebody broke in or something. So take out our guns. And while we're in there, we can smell that's the smell of a dead body. You know that once you smell it, you know it's a distinct smell. Yeah. So we're like,
Yes.
oh no, what's going on here? So we take out our guns, we start clearing it room by room. We go down. So we get to the room with the door. My partner opens the door. I go in, clear the room, check all the closets, everything. Nobody's in the house under the bed. So we come back out, and then we start looking around the house. We find the light switches. We turn on the lights, and in the middle of the living room, there's this big black spot right in the middle of the living room, in the shape of a human. So we're like, oh, okay. So I call dispatch and we run the activity on the address. And unfortunately, found out that the elderly lady that lived there had passed away, but she lived there alone.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody knew about it until like a week later when I guess when her kids came to check up on her, or her daughter came to check up on her and found her. So we're like, that's kind of strange if the lights are on. So we shut all the lights off. We locked up the house, and then we went out through the back again, and then we went through the grass, walked up to the neighbor's house, talked to the neighbor up there, and we told him, oh, did you know that the lady passed? He goes, oh yeah, she passed away a couple of weeks ago, and the house has been empty. So I was wondering, how come the lights keep going off and on? So he said, well, the house is secure. Nobody's inside. We locked everything up. So me and my partner went back to the house, make sure everything's secure. And in the front, where the rock garden was, there's a little bench.
Mm-hmm.
On the side of the bench was a little coffee can, like that 1 gallon coffee can.
Yeah.
And I looked inside, and there were cigarette butts inside. So I thought, oh, I remember when I used to go to my grandma's house, she always had a cigarette, the coffee can thing, and she used to put a cigarette butt in. So I thought,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay. So me and my partner, we both smoked, and we're not supposed to be smoking in public, right, in the uniform. So since we're down this long gravel road, sitting on the bench, I called my partner, hey, you know what, let's sit down, let's have a smoke. So we sat down, and I said out loud, I said, oh, Grandma, we checked your house, everything's secured. we're gonna have one last smoke with you before we go. So we smoked our cigarettes, and then put it out, and we said, okay, bye grandma, hope everything's okay. So we're walking back up the driveway. All of a sudden, on my belt, the flashlight goes back on.
Ooh. Ooh.
It's like both my flashlights go back on, and my partner's flashlight goes back on too when we get back to our car. So we're like, what's going on here?
Right. Interesting.
So, I mean, I don't know why the neighbor called it.
Yeah.
I mean, what led up to that? But I think grandma just wanted to have a smoke with somebody one last time or something.
Yeah, I think there was a ghost of a fucking car thief because I just heard excuse my language, guys. I just heard the car alarm went off outside. Yeah, but yeah, it's. Okay, let me ask you first and foremost, because I thought it was a really heart touching story. I mean, it's all about how you communicate and getting a reaction and everything. And I don't know okay, let me ask you, why do you think the flashlight first went off? And then as you leave, right after you've had your cigarette and everything, why did the flashlight went back on after that? Have you actually, over the years, thought about this as to why it happened?
Back then, I wasn't really into that. Well, I was into it, but not so much as now.
Mm-hmm.
And all the stuff I've learned over the years with you guys and stuff, I know the energy, they draw energy right to try and make themselves known. So now that I know that, that's probably what it was. She took the energy from 4 flashlights.
Mm-hmm. they when you kind of like talk to them about that and stuff, and did the people that had called you folks in and everything to investigate, did you think that they kind of like maybe thought that was what was going on, and maybe you guys would have been able to gather information about that, or because they're the ones always there, right? They're experiencing things, and did they? Okay, I'm sorry.
We just saw the lights going off and on, and thought that was kind of strange.
Okay,
So,
and
we
that's
don't
it.
usually explain to them. We just tell them, it's secured.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
nobody in there, and it's secured. So I don't know if it's electrical problem or.
I don't know, dude. I remember one time. Real quick here, guys. Don't mind the sidetrack. So there's several places that always intrigue me, and one of them is the Mo'ili'ili Cemetery. So real quick story. So I'm going down there one night because I was asked to investigate something that went on there. I'll just keep that as private info. But as I'm walking down to Mo'ili'ili Cemetery, on my left was this old house. I mean, freaking, the house was so old looking. It's one of those houses where you look at it and you're like, oh my God, it's so worn down. It's like there's no color to the house. It's falling apart. But I looked in that direction because I felt creeped out. And so right at the top of the house, 2-story house, the light went on. And it started flashing on, off, on, off, on, off. And they started getting faster and faster. And that's an example for me to see why those people called you guys in, because I think that's one of the classic signs. If you even watch paranormal videos, you'll see like lights flashing. It's the most common sign, I think, besides doors opening and cabinets flying open as well, and stuff like that. So that's a great story. It really made me smile. And that night that you told the story was a crazy, crazy night, and
Yeah.
you telling that story was great because it kind of diffused some of the stuff that was transpiring. So that's the most heartfelt one. What else do you think was kind of interesting that you've encountered patrolling and stuff?
Maybe like the Plato Center parking lot, the
Yeah.
parking structure.
Yeah. That's right next to the.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's right next to this.
McKinley football field, yeah. So late at night, I used to go up there and write reports. And the first couple of times I went up there, it was like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just sitting in my car and just chilling out, and I can hear like a lot of people chattering, like a whole bunch of people just chattering.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't figure out where that was coming from. So one night I got out of my car and I said, okay, walking around, and it was coming from the football field side. And I was thinking, huh. So after that, I kind of figured out what's going on. So now after that, every time I went up there to write reports or take a break or whatever, I just get out of my car first and I say out loud, I'm just here to take a break or write my reports. If I'm bothered, you just let me know and I'll leave. And nobody ever did anything to me, so I just stayed there. They kept chattering.
And that is not the first time that you spoke out loud to spirits while visiting their places, right? I mean, there was what was it, Stevenson or something, which everyone says, as far as haunted schools go, that's pretty much one of the most haunted ones that you actually.
When I used to park in
Yeah.
back of the cafeteria.
Yeah, and then nobody bothered you.
No.
Yeah, nobody.
I make it a practice. Anytime I go and I'm by myself someplace, like in the back of Stevenson cafeteria or whatever, or even when we're on calls, like if we're getting called to some abandoned house up in Kansas or whatever to check because the alarms are going off. I always say, if you, we're here to do this. We're here to check the house, make sure nobody's tampering with the house, and we're not here to disturb you or anything. So if there's a problem, just show us a sign that you don't want us here or whatever, and we'll leave. I mean, unless we gotta do something officially.
Yes.
Then we cannot leave, right? But
Yes.
always make it a point to say it out loud, just to announce ourselves respectfully.
As a police officer, and I mean I give officers credit. They get called into things like what you describe, and I'm sure maybe I don't know if it was with in your experience or someone else that they probably had like a call into something really bizarre, and you have to keep your game face on and everything too, and I mean, isn't that interesting, Mace? As a police officer, if something paranormal were to happen, you still have to try to kind of like diffuse it. I mean, I'm not saying that the capacity is there. It could be. The capacity to diffuse the situation could very well be there. But I think it's just interesting because it just presents this challenge where you have to kind of like figure things out. If you go to some of these places, Mace, have you ever felt like there was something there even though you never really saw it or interacted with it? Really?
The thing is, when as a police officer, you get there, and you got called there for a reason. So somebody is calling an alarm, the alarm is going off or something, the lights are going on and off, and nobody's supposed to be in the building. So when you get there, you don't really think about ghosts. You think about somebody's in there breaking in or something. So your adrenaline is up, your alertness is up, but it's not really I'm gonna be scared of ghosts because I'm more worried about the living person that might be in there at the time. So a lot of times you go to stuff and we don't realize that something weird's going around us because we're looking for something else. And then it's not until after you finish and you start coming down off your adrenaline or things are getting back down to neutral and you're sitting in your car and you're thinking, hey, that light was kind of flickering on and off and there's no power in the building. That's happened a lot.
Mm-hmm. I know one story you shared with me, which was really cool. And I guess we had conversations about maybe doing something with the information that was gathered. Is the Kahuku police station. So, yeah, that's kind of, it's known, for those of you people that like to go on the internet and go, looking around for haunted places in Hawaii and stuff like that. In my studies and everything and looking into these things, I've occasionally run across that station being haunted and stuff. So what can you tell me about that?
Actually, there's a star in the HP Ghost YouTube channel about Koku Station, but yeah, that upstairs is a real creepy place to be. When I was out there, it was about 30-something years ago, and even back then, I was brand new, and I didn't know any better, so I'll go up there. I was assigned their midnight watch, go up there and write my reports out, and I'm up there all by myself.
Mm-hmm.
You wonder after a while, how come nobody's in the station or up here, you know? And all the old timers later on, they tell you, hey, how come you go up there and write reports? It's kind of creepy up there. And I was like, yeah, I know, it feels kind of weird. She goes, yeah, the place is haunted. That's why nobody goes up there. And
Wow. Um, I just got. Oh, by the way, Patricia, good to see you. If you like, we can talk about what we did when we came over to visit you, or just briefly go over that. But Patricia, nice to see you. Brenda. Brenda says even the YNI police station. I think the other night when we did Tantless, you guys were kind of like having chit chat about YNI and stuff. But that was a different preference. I mean, different type of conversation that you guys were having. But I do know for YNI, there's that famous story by Glenn Grant about this officer that was transferred over to, I think, the YNI side, and it kind of culminated with this. And I think when we talked about it that night, was it you or Kaleo said? I talked about the this car. There's this car. It's like the spirit of a police officer that drives his car, and so long story short, the person from town encounters this car, and is following the car, and the car ends up like shooting off like super fast towards Cayena Point and disappears. So that's interesting that you bring up this whole thing about Wyanite because did you hear anything about Wyanite, Mace, at all?
I've only been there a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Never really. In fact, the last time I went there was still the old station.
Oh,
They
okay.
knocked it down already. There's stories. Yeah, there's stories on the HP YouTube about the NI station, the new station, with stuff showing up in the cameras and stuff like that. I think this island is so small. Every place is haunted. There's no place on this island that's not haunted.
My sister always tells me that. She's like, "You going out again tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Where are you going?" "Oh, so and so." "Oh, that's okay. Guess what? Everywhere's haunted. You don't even have to go far. Step out of the door. Just look around. There, you'll see something. And you know what? Maybe not to that point, but you do see stuff living here.
I mean, if you're tuned into it, you'll probably see it. If not, you'll probably just miss it. Like my house, the side of my house. Remember telling you?
Oh heck yeah, yeah. Go tell that. That's a good story.
Okay, yeah. So one night I was upstairs in my on my second floor, and I have a picture window over the side of my house. And it's been like 2:30 in the morning, and I see the motion lights go on the side of my house. So me and my neighbor, we have the same kind of motion lights, and we have it kind of like offset all the way down the side of our houses. So I see the farthest of my backyard go on, then I see his one go on, then I see mine go on, then I see his go on, all the way to the front of the house. And then I hear the gate slam on the side. I'm thinking the gate's supposed to be locked. So I check my ring camera, and I see the lights going on, and I can hear the footsteps in the gravel because I grab them in the side. Then I hear the gate slam.
Mm-hmm.
I don't catch, the camera doesn't catch the gate. It only catches the very top corner. And I just see the top corner coming, boom, slams against the rock wall.
Holy
So I'm
cow.
like, shoot, somebody's in my yard. So I grab my gun and I go downstairs. I go from the backyard and I start looking, clearing it out, and there's nothing. I lock the gate back up and I come back upstairs. And then maybe about 20 minutes later, I hear again, and the lights are going on, and the gate slams again. So I'm like, okay. So I go out there. This time I go from the front yard. I have my gun in my hand. And I'm checking it. There's nobody there. The lights all go off. So I'm like, huh. So I text Lopaka.
Yeah, that's a good source. Yeah.
I say, hey, Lopaka, this is kind of weird because I explained to him what's going on with the lights and the gates. And he goes, where you live? And I said, oh, in Mililani Malka. He said, So I'm like, oh no, what's He goes, where exactly in Malka? So I said, I live above the middle school between the Hiva and the Hula. So it's the two ridges, right? The Hiva goes down and becomes Kipapa Gulch. And the Hula is on the other side that goes into Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I think it's this some of the warriors coming through from the Hiva, and they're just passing through. So he said, try go out there and just talk to them and ask them not to slam the gate. And I said, okay, and then I also texted Laurie. Laurie always answers my midnight calls or something. I told her she said, oh, I'm gonna take a look. So she did her thing, took a look, calls me back, and she said, oh yeah, it's just Hawaiian warriors, they're crossing through. I said, okay, that kind of validates what Lopaka said. So I went up there and I took 2 beers, opened a beer, and I put one on the wall, and I said, hey, you guys are here long before I was. I'm just temporarily using this property while I'm here. So feel free to pass through anytime. You have free passage. I said, please just don't slam my gates and don't disturb my neighbors. And then I finished my beer, came back inside. And since then, I see the lights come on, but I don't hear the gravel footsteps, and the gate doesn't slam anymore.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So, I mean, like I said, it doesn't have to be scary. For me, it's just living peace with them,
Mm-hmm. Quick shout out, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic storyteller extraordinaire, Lopaka Kapanui, with Mysteries of Honolulu. If you are really very invested into spirits and everything that occupy our island chain, Lopaka is so well versed in all of that. And if you go on one of his tours, you will not only go on a tour, you will go on an experience, which is exactly what you want. You want that to be the outcome of you going there. Anyone can tell a story. It takes a little bit more, actually, it takes a lot more than that in talent and skill to recreate the experiences that are shared from the storyteller. So check out Lopaka Kapanui. He also recently, and I gotta get a hold of that book because I have all of his books about night marchers. For those of you that are interested in night marchers, go check out Lopaka Kapanui. Find him on Mysteries of Honolulu on Facebook. And Chuck Lee says, Mace, what are a couple of your most haunted experience that you personally had while working as a police officer? I can understand why people are really intrigued by asking you that question, because I think, I mean, I'm sure you've had discussions, Mason, with the police community. There's quite a few people that are experiencing extraordinary things at times, don't you think? Or have they shared that with you? Mace, are you there? Oh, what happened here? Hold on a second. Hold on, guys. Yeah, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Aha, okay, no problem. So did you hear the question though that was asked?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, so, and I know, because you're working with these people, are your brothers and everything too, brothers in blue and stuff, and you guys have a very tight-knit relationship, or at least among some of them, right? So the police community, they are experiencing things, right, that are extraordinary. And have you heard anything like that? And again, Chuck is asking if you've had anything that was, again, what is it said? That you personally had while working. Yeah, what was something that was, I think he's trying to find out if the most haunted or the most profound experience. Yeah.
Mm, most of them were. Most of them didn't really happen right at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like the H2 when I told the little girl in my shooting.
Yeah, we should talk about that. That's a beautifully tragic, and that sounds like a word phrasing, people, but it's a beautifully tragic story. So, but anyway, continue, please.
Spooky kind of stuff. Nothing really. I don't know, because for me, I don't know. My mind is different. I don't really get scared unless they give me something to do. If something strange happens, I actually try and talk to them.
Yeah, right.
My ghost dog up in Dallas was the one that kept showing up.
Yeah, let's talk about that one. Let's talk about that one. I believe in synchronicity. So I believe what Mace Minakawa had encountered at Tantalus years ago with this could possibly be a spirit animal. I think may have been a possible tie into what he has in his life that he received as a blessing, which is his Shiba Inu dog, Yoshi. So, yeah, go ahead, tell that story real quick, because I find it interesting that you were encountering that, and later on you did get a Shiba Inu.
Yeah. So about 20 years ago, when I worked up in Canvas, I was on the swing watch, so 2 to 11 at night. We still always kept the lookout there once an hour. That was my beat up there.
Right.
And every night at about 7 o'clock, I would go up to this one lookout just past the spooky lot. And I
Mm-hmm.
would park there and have my dinner and write my reports or whatever I had to catch up on. And I would sit there and um, after a couple like months, this dog started showing up every night at the lookout. So he would come walking out of the bushes, and then he'd jump up on the wall, and he would sit right in front of the police car on the wall looking at me.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it's kind of strange. So every time I tried to open the door and try and talk to him, he would run off into the bush, disappear. And at the time, I didn't know what a Shiba Inu was. This is a real nice looking dog, but kind of strange to be a stray. So every night I would go up there and this dog would show up. So after a while, I would try and give him part of my dinner, but he'd run off. So after I figured out, oh, okay, so I'd go buy a sandwich from 7-Eleven before I went up every night. And when I parked, I would put it on the wall. And the dog would come, and as long as I didn't try and get out of the car, he would sit on the wall to eat the sandwich. And he would sit there for a little while, maybe about 10, 20 minutes, and then he would just go off into the bushes. So I named him my ghost dog because nobody else seemed to see him or notice him. And then years later, I got a chance to get a Shiba Inu, and he looks exactly like my dog now.
Let me ask you,
It was going on for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Feeding him every night.
Did you think anything interesting about that years later that you actually ended up with a Shiba Inu, and you kind of talking about it kind of really made you feel like it might really be like looking like that dog. I mean, they dog animals look alike, but they also have their own personalities. When you post pictures
Yeah,
of
they pretty much look the same. They use the same color and everything.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, no, and I wasn't really looking for a dog, and then one day one of my friends brought his Shiba Inu, and they're well known to be stuck up. Yeah, they only stay with their master. So we were at a party, and I don't drink, so I was sitting on the floor with this dog, and everybody else is partying. So 4 hours, I'm trying to make friends with this dog, and finally at the end of the night, the dog started coming around me, and then my friend was amazed. She's like, "Oh, you won't even go to my mother and this and this." He said, "Hey, when we go on vacation, can we leave the dog with you?" So for 3 years, he left the dog with me 2 weeks a year.
Mm-hmm.
And just so happened they had bred the dog, and they asked me if I wanted a puppy. So I was like, at the time I wasn't sure if I wanted a puppy yet. So
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, let me know when he gives birth. Maybe I'll take one. So I said, okay. So the dog gave birth, and then he called me and he said, the dog gave birth, so get ready to go look at the puppy. So I said, okay. He called me back the day after, and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, but they had actually sold out a puppy. So in the next one, the breeder told me he promised me the first pick." So I said, "Oh, okay, whatever." So a couple months later, he calls me. He goes, "Hey, the dog's pregnant again. You get the first pick. I promise you." So I said, "Okay." So he called me when the dog was born, and he said, "Hey, you know what? Only had one puppy."
Wow.
And he ended up being mine.
That's really super cool. I wanted to ask you, because, like I said, I've been very lucky and blessed to not only have worked with some of the people from HPD in the paranormal field, I've also, stood up and said my voice on social media defending, what they do for all of us, and that's why sometimes you talk about ghosts and everything. And people like police officers and such. It's good to understand that someone's got to handle this stuff. Somebody has to when those calls go in and stuff like that. So if that can, help build a little bit more of a better relationship with public relationship with police officers and such, that'd be great. I'm not using it as a political platform, but I think it's important to acknowledge that part. But I remember with one of the officers I hung out with, my friend Eric Fong, we went to the police station downtown. Downtown is an interesting place. Uh, there's a lot of ghostly stories that are shared, people encountering weird things in the downtown district. So when Eric invited me to the Chinatown police station, I found it to be, a natural occurrence, because I just think that probably most of Chinatown, based on its history with the bubonic plague and fires and all other crazy things, would, become that type of place. And lo and behold, it is. Did you, I mean, when I went there, ooh, it was crazy. There was stuff singling out people. There were spirits, there was those spirits or spirits singling out this one particular person and stuff. So I found that to be interesting because the person was being really affected by the spirit singling them out. Did you hear anything about the Chinatown police station or anything similar to that happening? Because again, I think maybe HPD may have covered it. I'm not sure, but their Ghost Stories channel. But did you, outside of like videos, did you hear anything about that?
Some of the offices in that building is pretty creepy at night.
Mm-hmm.
And then the storage underneath, yeah, down there it's like a tunnel with little pockets built into the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And then just down the street, that's just gonna tell you, but a couple of the store owners let us in under their stores, and we got to see the catacombs under the city. Most of the places cemented up the openings. So you gotta kind of know somebody that knows which ones to go in, because there's a whole bunch of tunnels and stuff under Chinatown
I was gonna
that
say,
people don't really know about.
I was gonna say, I mean, I know for a fact that if you look at the history of Chinatown, there were like opium dens and everything, but would I have to check again, but I'm kind of wondering if it was just used for passageway underground for, you know, illicit activity or whatever the case may be, or I wonder if they kind of had stuff down there because I don't hear too much about. If you really want to find out about underground spirit activity, then yeah, again, you have to reference out stories from Lopaka Kapanui and stuff like that. At least about as far as like what you're describing. I don't know if he probably does have stories about it, but just the whole idea that what you're mentioning is there's a whole area underneath there. And I know Eric Fong, when we used to go visit the haunted police station, was fascinated by that. He wanted to get down there and take a look around and stuff like that too. So yeah, I was kind of wondering. So the only places I know, thank you for, I think it was Brenda that mentioned the fact that the Waianae police station, thank you for that. And so now I know, I guess Waianae, Kahuku, what else would be haunted? Chinatown, and the substation. Not the substation, but the training facility. So very
Yeah,
interesting.
all the stations have some kind of story.
Interesting because I know the other part of it is like the choke neck ghosts, which I have encountered myself. And from I honestly believe, interesting you mentioned McKinley High School because there was a murder that took place there, a cold case back in I think the mid to late 70s. By the time I had gone to that school, there was a murder there of a student. Long story short, it created a tremendous haunting. The kids were afraid to use the bathrooms and everything there. But long story short, too, again, and I have it on my Ghosts of Hawaii. I took some pics there because we were trying to do a spirit crossing, and all these weird, dark, contorted energies started showing up. And when I went home that night, something was trying to choke me. So when I hear stories about fire stations having choke neck spirits and stuff like that, and again, it's very centralized in that regard. I would not be surprised if police officers ran into some very bizarre things once in a while where they work at, because that's when I think it gets uncomfortable. It's bad enough you have to
But you
go
can,
out. Yeah, what's that?
you think, see, fire stations, hospitals, police stations, they all have a lot of similar stories. And my theory on that is all the things that the police officers deal with, firemen deal with, like hospitals, the emotions and the trauma and all that stuff, kind of like pours into the building.
Yes.
And but like firemen and police officers, I wouldn't doubt that their things get attached to them out at the scene. So like when I was working in traffic, that's all we would do. We would go out and handle fatalities. So the only time you're actually working on the road is when somebody dies. And these things probably attached because there's a lot of emotion going on
Perfect timing.
at those scenes.
Perfect timing. Let's talk about the your personal very actually, you know something, everything that you've shared over the years, if you don't mind telling that story about what happened to that girl that you saw at the accident scene, that would be to me the most heartfelt. And I mean, as far as like encounters where it definitely could change your life just by being caught up in the moment and the details that were transpiring. It's a great story, but it's a very sad one. And I call it beautiful because the ending was with some kind of resolution that you brought to the situation. So if you don't mind, let's talk about that particular ghost story.
Oh yeah, okay. So back in I think it was 2001,
Hmm.
we were working nighttime night enforcement traffic. So basically we're a DUI team, and must have been about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. We got called to an accident on the H2. So the initial call came on H2 southbound, right by the Waianae off.
Hmm.
So just prior to that, where the big hill is between the two, the northbound and southbound lanes. So we got there and we saw the skid marks going up the side of the hill. So it actually came back down on the northbound side. So we had to take the Waianae off, and I went all the way down to Cam Highway, turned around at Sam's Club, came back onto the northbound lanes. And when I got there, there was a car overturned. You could see that where it overturned several times coming down the mountain.
Right.
The first thing I looked up on the side of the mountain, I saw toys scattered all over the side of the mountain. The car was upside down, and there was a little girl lying in the dirt. She probably about 30, 40 feet away from the car.
Hmm.
She was sitting in the back seat. She wasn't wearing a seatbelt. She got ejected out the back window. Car rolled over several times, and then she went flying. So I ran over to the girl, and then I took her down to the shoulder of the freeway off to the side, and then I was just holding her. And she was already gurgling, that death gurgle.
Yeah.
And then she asked me, she asked me, "I'm gonna be all right. What are you gonna say?" I said, "Yeah, don't worry, you're gonna be okay." And she asked, "Is my mommy okay?" So I said, "Yes, your mommy's okay. Don't worry about it. Just hang on, we'll wait for the ambulance." But she passed away before the ambulance got there. So we finished up the scene. The one thing that stuck out is I saw an ice cream cone on the ground next to the car. That really jabbed me.
Yeah. Things stick
So
out,
we
right?
cleaned up that accident scene, and then must have been like several weeks later it started. Every time I'll be going home from work late at night, we finished at usually about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Hmm.
So I'd be driving home up to Mililani, and as I'm passing the scene on the freeway, I would see this little girl's shadow standing in the shoulder. So I was thinking, I wonder if that's it was exactly where the accident happened. So for years, going home, I would see her shadow standing in the corner of the freeway, in the shoulder. So back in 2017, when I retired, I think I had gone out one night. I don't know if it was my retirement party or something. I was coming home late at night, and I'm driving up the H2. And right when I got up to the scene, I pulled over to where that girl was. And I got out of my car and I said, "Hey, it's been 20 years, almost 20 years already. It's time for you to go to the lake." So I said a small prayer, and I told her, "It's okay, just go. You don't have to hang around here anymore." got in my car and I left. And 7 years. I haven't seen her since. Sometimes I intensely drive there, or when we're coming home after our investigations,
Yes.
at 3, 4 in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
I'll slow down over there and try to see, but I haven't seen her since. So hopefully she went.
Yeah, you know, the things that you're describing is because we've been involved with several spirit crossings, and it's almost like light worker work, you know, being able to you know make that spirit understand something that you know you because I believe, like, I'll give you an example real quick. So I'm going to backtrack to the McKinley High School spirit crossing that was accomplished by my friend. Incredible night. So that night I stood below the staircase that went up to the murder site, and I was trying to document everything. And so my roommate and my friend, it's really weird how synchronicity works. We were talking about that earlier. Synchronicity for that situation was we were doing a memorial show for my drama teacher who had passed away. So we found out that we were doing rehearsals there from the band room teacher that the haunting was still pretty prevalent. And on top of that, my friend who went to the school with me, the murder victim was her friend. So it's very interesting, and it kind of ties into you, Mace. So they go upstairs and they do the spirit crossing. You know, my friend is extremely gifted. She can see and hear. It's just crazy the amount of psychic ability she has. But the point of it was, as the progression of the spirit crossing, the she told me that the one thing that she noticed about that ghost was that the ghost was there, but it looked like the ghost was in a trance, you know, and it was just caught up in a singular or something like that. The spirit was experiencing its own set of circumstances, and my friend was really nice enough to tell the ghost, like you, that you know years have gone by, and you don't have to be here anymore. And when I think I gotta talk to her after, she probably can hear me too. Um, Afterwards, you know, or during the course of what happened, you know, the spirit started to cry because spirit didn't know that it was there for so long. Spirit didn't know that it was murdered, I think, as well, if I'm not mistaken. But I didn't understand the sense of time, the continuum of time. It was so interesting what she reported to me and told me while I'm gathering information on the outside of the spirit crossing, is that you know she didn't even the spirit did not recognize her friend, and that's because she was still the spirit of a student, but she had gone on. So she didn't even recognize it. So it really does tie in. And what my friend did is what you did. Spirit didn't know what was going on that much, but you kind of explained it, and then it broke that cycle. So that's why I brought that up. So this it's very much like you did like light worker type work when you did that. You know, my hat's off to you, my friend.
Like the time we went up to San and we went to the gazebo. Remember when in fact, that was the first time I went with you. I took you to
Yes,
the suicide scheme.
yes, yes, yes. That story of the pregnant girl. I guess sometimes events happen, and that's another thing that's great about police officers, and that's why I like to talk to people like you, is that there's the story that is given out to the public that you know it's considered to be whatever you accept as being real. So the story of Tantalus and the girl that was committed suicide, she did it because she was pregnant and the boyfriend rejected her. But I know I talk to people like you that are law enforcement, and it's slightly altered from that. But yeah, that was very interesting to hear about the story, then go up there with you, and then have a reaction to it, you know? So those are my thoughts. Very interesting that night.
And the hand came out and said, "Thank you."
Yeah. Ooh.
The EVP.
Yes. 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 we were so lucky to have that opportunity to be up there because there's so many stories about that park up at Tantalus. You know, Tantalus itself, which is why I wanted to do the investigation and had to explain the other night exactly why there was a delay in setting up videos. A lot of my stuff from Tantalus, like I had my full spectrum, like you saw that night. I turned it on. You watch. I'm going to be posting two more videos, I think. And one of them has to do with you're doing running the spirit box, and then that voice that says "Hey," and then you can hear like someone pounding the road, right? That kind of stuff
Yep,
going
yep.
on. Yeah, but um, it's just I don't know. It's one of those places, and when you start talking about spooky lot and ghost dogs and all these other types of things, it just makes so much sense. And we were lucky to be able to get up into that park because that park is notoriously haunted. People like encounter Hawaiian ghosts and everything too. But what do you think was going on? Do you think it was had to do with the suicide that night? Let's kind of go over what happened that night.
The night, the recent one.
Yeah, when we went to the park, when they opened up the park for us, the gates.
Oh, that. I think that was just something that was meant to happen. I think
Okay.
because I didn't remember about that suicide until we got down there. That's when I told you. Yeah, I did a suicide case over here like 10 years ago, and then we started taking pictures, and then you did the prayer, and
Yes.
then all that stuff started happening. That arm came through the fence, and all the EVPs, and
Yeah, the arm coming through the fence. Whew. Uh, Again,
the green
unexpected.
arm.
Yeah, the green arm. We started, in case you guys are wondering, like, what are you talking about, a green arm going through a fence? We decided to do some spiritual work, and then in the process of that, I started taking some photographs around Mace and everything, and it seemed like something practically was drawn to him. And so the photographs that came out of that, if I can find some of them because I have so much stuff laying around. I'll see if I can post it on Ghost of Hawaii and say, hey, remember the Tantalus thing? And we can talk about that. Troy Fujimoto, hello, my friend. Hi. Mace and
Oh, that's
Obaki.
right.
Yeah, hey, Troy. Good to see you, my friend. What else here? Let me go back here. Um, did- 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 did. Oh, now you're making me think about not moving to Milwaukee.
It's not
Definitely.
that bad.
I don't know,
Well, then
man.
again, if you talk to Lopaka, he'll
Look.
tell you this is one of the most haunted places on the island.
Yes, yes, and I believe him. I absolutely believe him because you gotta, I'm sorry, folks. Some of the things we will do on future shows, but as an example, Kipapa Gulch, which is in the area, it was the bloodshed from the battle there, the bloodshed and everything else, the bodies that were laying upon the ground in the Kipapa Gulch and everything. I no clue. I mean, no clue why people who don't usually think about ghosts can practically deny that there's zero evidence that a tremendous event like that would not generate activity and stuff. I'm on the entirely different end of the spectrum with that, and I think some of
The
Milani
battle actually
Mocha is
started up in
extremely haunted.
Lehiva.
Was that?
The battle actually started up in Lehiva and it went down to Kipapa.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. See,
And
bingo.
the river ran red to Waipao.
That's crazy. Okay, so Annie's saying uh, that she lived in the area and nothing, no problems. I mean, I don't think that just because there's like, say, a location that's haunted, some people are outside of that reference to spirit activity, and not everyone will encounter stuff. But then again, if you go back and you think about what May said with the spirit that was activating sensors and everything else, and having to go out there and have a conversation and do things the Pono way, which is just how things are done here. Then yeah, there's stuff. Just not everyone will experience it, and but since we have you on this show, we have to talk about some of the personal things that we've done with investigations. And I think the first one, because we always reference it at times, is it's just got to be Beep. It's got to be Beep because Beep has not only become a sense of amusement or like it is amusement in a way that we encounter when Beep shows up. In case you're wondering, folks, I'll have Mace kind of explain that, and then we'll kind of like say why. Well, every once in a while, well, not once in a while. Every time Mace shows up, Beep shows up. So let's talk about Beep. We have to. You're here. You're on the show.
At first I thought it was a ghost, but now that I think about it, I think it's just a guardian.
It's a guardian.
Yeah, and because we picked them up in Tamnes too.
Yes, that's true.
This is the second time we went up there.
Yes.
That's when we picked them up. Started following the truck, and then after that, every time we went,
we encountered Beep. Beep showed up. Beep started. Beep is a spirit box phenomenon type spirit because of Beep's tenacity to constantly want to make people know, hey, you know what? This is Beep. Beep is here, and sometimes when Beep is there, things happen. So it's nice to not only having had conversations with this particular entity, but again, we talk about the weirdness of Tantalus, and I think that's where Beep was first showing that he wanted to talk to Mace or whatever. All I know is that when Mace shows up, he turns on the spirit box, Beep is there. And it's incredible.
First thing though is that, Beep, are you here tonight?
And he'll say a couple of times. He'll mention it a couple of times. Yeah.
To answer Brenda's question, I'm not sure. I think it's on the opposite side. Mehiva is on the opposite side of Mehula.
Mm-hmm.
The Mehiva Ridge. I think Mehula Vista's on the other side of Mehula Parkway.
Well, let's talk about this. Now, the thing that having done shows for Haunted Hawaii, which is now unfortunately no longer on the internet, you hear a lot of different stories about Milani Malka. And one of the most prevalent one has to do with this murder-suicide that took place. And so this like people talk about that sometimes. Oh, that it falls under the category. Oh, it's that house. The house. I mean, even on the mainland, there's people that say, you know about that house down the road, right? Don't go near that house because something happened there. And I think a lot of times, in what I was gathering information, because it's interesting when you host shows and you interview people because that information comes trickling into you, and so that's what I know about Milani Malka, guys. I mean, their stuff is connected to historical things from the past, and not that far in the past. And then you have incredible stories like what Mace shared. So that's definitely interesting, and it's very well known. So I think that's why Lopaka said, "Oh, you live there." Because Lopaka was sharing that for quite a while, So
yeah, it's well known. I mean, there's pictures of like shadow people hanging around the street. Like Troy said, the Milani Malka middle school is right down the street from my house, like 4 houses away. But I don't know. I've never gone in there past day hours. So
yeah.
One of my friends lives down on the Lehiva side, on the Lehiva Ridge side, and their house. She said the TV turns off and on by itself. It changes channels, but she's cool with it. She just tells them, "Oh, hey, turn the TV off when you're done."
Yeah. Okay. Troy just said too. While you were saying all of that, Troy says that Murder House is legit and continues to be.
I never heard any stories about hauntings there though. The house has been vacant until last year. Somebody finally bought it. The
legitimacy on my part is see again, just known some very authentic type psychics, and we always ended up getting along really well. Even though for like someone like me that's had like demonic energies around him and stuff like that, they always look at me with like, things will get better type of attitude, and that helps. Having someone say that, and I made friends with them. And so this one particular person who operated the Haunted Hawaii talk show, and also the Haunted Hawaii website. She's very talented when it comes to spirits, and she was saying that because she could actually astral project, and she went to the house, the murder house, and she was describing that in that house, it's the whole thing like I told you about the sense of time being frozen, or spirit times and and reaction with spirits wherever they're at, kind of translates things differently. And so the guy that murdered the family was in the house with the woman and the what's it, one or two kids that got killed or something like that. And so she was able to again break the loop. That's so important when it comes to hauntings. You got to break the loop, and so she did. But it's interesting because Troy says, and maybe what happened was, so when she says break the loop, I say break the loop. She was able to tell the woman and the child or children, because I don't know the exact details, you can go now, you can leave. So they did. They, from what she said, they left when she experienced them in spirit time. But the husband was the big problem. He was so weighed down by guilt. His spirit continues, I think, to haunt the place, and that's why. Maybe that's what's happening with what Troy is saying. Because, like I said, hosting that show produced a lot of interesting information about it. So,
I was actually there that day.
really?
I was on my way home and I heard it on the radio, so I stopped.
Whoa.
Stopped by to check it out.
How many years ago was that?
Oh, that was early 2000. Was it 2005?
Yeah, something like that. That's right. Wow. All this time later, and people still talk about. Some people talk about it because like Troy chimed in with it, the murder house of Mililani, which kind of reminds me when they talk about houses and spirits, would kind of like fall in reference, although the location is different. With like other famous haunted houses in Hawaii, probably the most famous is in Kaimoki, and that's the Kasha House, and that one there's local chatter to this very day about it. So, but yeah, that's all about Mililani, guys, really. But I wanted to kind of go back on the investigation because I was really upset. I was filming us doing our investigation, and I even did with the full spectrum, and even was talking with you guys. And I think I saw something on my film, but it was hard to. I mean, the video screen is so small. Then I went back and I went to check, and all the full spectrum footage was gone. And like I said in the gone, because that's the one thing about you, Mace. You love tech. So like if you're working a camera, you press the button, it says, recording. You take that as being, I have nothing to worry about. It's on. It's documenting. All of that was gone. So looking back on Tantalus, what was I mean? Because you have a definite history with it. What do you think about that investigation? Because I know at one point we were taking notes. Trying to use it chronologically to help us, get a better understanding of what was going on. What do you think happened that night?
Well, me and electronics, when after that time in the wall cemetery, my thinking is, if it doesn't work, just don't do it already.
Right.
Something's telling you, take pictures of me. Because my post spectrum, remember that thing, like batteries kept dying?
Yes, I remember that.
For electronics, if something's showing me a sign that they don't want to be photographed or whatever, I just put it away. But that night was kind of, I actually got startled for the first time when I got grabbed.
Yes! Oh my
I
God!
don't usually get scared on stuff like that, but oh man.
So let's talk about that.
So arm got grabbed too.
Yeah, so I said we need to have a conversation about that. So we're in the course of our investigation. There's a couple of weird things that happen. Yeah, like I said, I think Tanis is one of those places that if you sit around long enough, even if you're not doing an investigation, something's going to just uh, walk up to you and get your attention. Doesn't matter if you're there for that reason. So we're doing spirit boxes. I know Beep was showing up and everything, and then I went off to do mine, which you guys are going to see, by the way. You guys are going to see me, but I was running two cameras, and unfortunately, I wanted you guys to see full spectrum, right? Because you could see in the dark with that. You can't with the other one. But sometimes you got to go into the dark. That's the only way stuff happens, guys. Don't know why. I guess spirits realize that, and they want to, use that to their advantage. But I was by myself, and I was experiencing things. Then I heard a voice say, "Hey," and it was distinct from Mace's spirit box. It actually sounded like it was coming from someone was saying something on the road and everything. And then later on, with what Mace said, and let's talk about that. We're sitting around talking, and Mace goes, "Hey," you're like, something. I'm like, "What the hell happened?" And so, what the hell happened, Mace?
I was sitting on the back bumper of my truck, and then something grabbed my ankle and yanked me off the truck.
Holy jeez.
Just right before that, somebody, I don't know if it was you or Camille, said, "Oh, it got super cold."
Yes.
And then some people grabbed my ankle and yanked me off the bumper of the truck.
Holy.
I was like, "Whoa!" And then Khalil went, "Oh, somebody just grabbed my."
Yes. After that, yeah, right after that. So
I was thinking after a while, after a couple of days, I was thinking, "Hey, I wonder if those little guys that are showing up on the ground."
oh yeah. What if?
Somebody,
Yeah.
somebody commented on the Facebook where I posted it, said maybe it was Menehune spirits or something. I was thinking, I wonder if it was one of them that grabbed my leg.
Might be.
That would have been right about the same height. That's where my leg was.
Well.
And where Khalil's arm was. He was sitting on the lawn chair.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of like characteristics of Menehune too. They're very for those of you that don't know what Menehune are, if you're watching on the mainland or some other part of the world on this channel, Menehune are very distinct, well recognizable spirits. Night marchers are well recognizable. Ao Makua is very well recognizable. There are spirits that actually stand out and are very unique in what they do, and the Menehune are no different than that. They could almost be seen, if you want to have a good reference point, as being like a Hawaiian leprechaun or something, but they're not leprechauns. But you're talking about the small people and stuff like that. And I've encountered them. So as my roommate, she actually saw them. And so when Mace, I didn't know, right? Because I was just so caught up in Mace being yanked off of the car and then Kaleo being grabbed as well. It just, I think that's why Mace, I think we started to write it down. We started to write everything down to see exactly, if it made any type of sense. But I know the big event was you being grabbed like that. Did it feel like an actual hand or more like a force pushing you off you, or
it felt like a hand.
Like a hand.
It went right around my ankle and yanked me.
Holy shit.
I came off that bumper fast too.
Excuse me, guys, clearing out my throat here, my pipes. Did anything happen before that? No, that all occurred after I heard the voices and everything else that was there. Because at one point it just started to happen. I think when we first got there, we were kind of like just acclimating, and then they kind of understood.
That was actually when we were winding down already.
Yeah, we're winding down. The interesting thing was when I was experiencing the voices and everything, on my right hand side, and you probably hear it in the video, guys. Sorry, I couldn't get the full spectrum footage. On my right hand side, the air just became warm. And you can ask Mace and even Kaleo. When we were there, it was cold. I mean, maybe not mainland cold, but you live here. And maybe because of that reason too, that we don't always get that kind of weather. But when temperatures drop, which sometimes happens in investigations as well, not just weather related, you notice it. And it was cold. and it got warm. Then I thought about Lopaka and what he said about being Pukane. I think it's Pukane night. The night of the marchers. So yeah, I think Lopaka talks about expresses it in his storytelling that sometimes the night marches when they show up, there's like this warm, hot wind that blows. So my right side became like that, and then at one point I heard a faint, I think a couple of times, drum beat. And I was like, oh man, not gonna mess with that. So that's me. I experience these things. I'm with Mace, I'm with Kaleo. I have my own experiences. Then I go over to where they're at. We did run a couple of the spirit box. I mean the flux was weird. Because the flux, which is a sensor that will answer your questions by going green
Oh,
for,
yeah.
that was weird, right? That was
Yeah.
that was weird. Because it would answer in its own way. You know? I think I'm thinking about this now, Mace. I want to share this with you. I think why sometimes the light shifted to red as a response is what you're supposed to do with the flux, right? That spirit communicator. You're supposed to show the spirit. Left is green. Right side of the sensor is red. Green is yes. Red is no. You can even say Wahine or woman is green, red. You can use it for anything. It's so versatile. But Mace and us, we were just sitting there and we're talking, and this damn thing is actually going off. You know?
And it told it turn green, and it turned green.
Shit, yeah.
Make it red, and it turned red.
Yeah, I mean, what I really appreciate is the collabs when you go out into the field, and I know that I feel better in my element when the people I'm working with are able to be able to keep things going in their own way, and then at the end you just kind of connect all the dots and everything, and you see what you come up with. I know that when we did Man Camera Ghost, the Halloween one, it was incredible. You and I actually heard. You heard it first. You heard the drum beats because people are asking about night marches. We heard the drum beats were coming up the road from Morgan's Corner. But one thing I really like, Mace, and they kind of like to bring this part of it all together too. And I know for a fact that I want to do maybe another investigation of it, Tantalus, and also recap it. Other people like Kaleo, me, you, and Kaleo just sit down and talk about it overall. Each of our voices coming together for some kind of resolution to everything is. I just want to say it's very interesting that twice you did a Buddhist prayer, right? At the end of the night. Kind of give me a rundown and get another again, because I remember at Man Camera Ghost was Halloween and we were doing all of this stuff, right? We were doing all of this. And then at the end of the night, it was interesting because I was feeling, to use a funny word, discombobulated big time at the end of the night. And I was feeling...
we got the foot thrown at us.
Yes, yes.
Street.
What was that now? What was thrown? A knife or something, huh? No, the sickle, right?
The round sickle, yeah.
Yeah, it was thrown at us. So go figure that, guys. They say in seances that there's physical manifestations from the spirit world that, become very much connected to ghosts. And you know why that was interesting, right, Mace? Because a previous Man Camera Ghost, there was a spirit coming through the speaker that said slaughter. And when you guys discovered that, I was like looking at that thinking, God, that, someone's trying to get our attention. Is it the spirit from before that was talking about slaughter? I don't know what slaughter meant. I was thinking, what, was it the murder up here at Old Poly Drive or the battle? Not sure. But tell me about that, Mace, if you don't mind me asking, about the Buddhist prayer that you play at the end of the night. Kuniko Kid, good to see you. Thank you for being here tonight. Carol Lay, it's good to see you as well. So is that like just to bring back balance, or is it specific to spirits and calming them down? What is that? Yeah.
It's just a general prayer to bring back peace,
Mm-hmm.
balance. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, it really, to tell you the truth, it kind of put me in a trance, and then as I was in the middle of the trance of hearing the chant being played out, then you could kind of feel like that
Or
calm,
like
yeah, the lightening of the atmosphere and everything, So it's incredible that one thing can actually help to resolve things. And so, do me a favor, yeah, always bring that chant because I like the results of it. I really do. I really truly appreciate that. I guess so. What I'm looking at next for us is a possible visit to your neck of the woods. I'm thinking maybe that'll happen, or Kaleo, we can introduce him to some things that we already know about. I think he had a good dose of scary dark place with Tantalus that night. So I think I'm gonna choose. God, it's going to be such a big thing. I know it's going to drain the heck out of me. So I don't know if it's next month or the following month. We do our once a month thing. Then I'm going to mention. I'm going to mention it to you right now, and I want your input because I know I've mentioned it before. But it's nice to have a quick wrap up with that. What do you think about Mililani Cemetery Road?
yeah.
It's in your neck of the woods, yeah. It's near you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
We can try one night too. Let's go to the park next to the middle school up here, next to my house.
Yeah, sure.
Go and hit up the park and run the spirit box.
Yes.
See what we can get.
Oh, by the way, Mace, let me tell you my idea that I wanted to share with you. You guys all get to hear my idea that I was sharing with Mace that I wanted to do one time. And that is drive around with Mace. And he can say, like, well, this is where this happened. You folks heard the stories, but sometimes it's just neat. It's nice to see it, So maybe like a little, if Mace is kind of feeling that's just kind of a cool thing, we just small kind drive around. We don't have to do Tantalus anything. We've done Tantalus so much that we actually ran away from Beep one night. We just ran the hell away from him. He was this red orb. Long story, guys. He was this big red orb, and I hope that's
chasing us around the mountain.
yeah, he was chasing us while you drive. Interesting what you said. So let's talk about that first. There's an old traditional belief. I don't know if it's specific to the islands, but like say like you go to a funeral, right? You go to a funeral, and when you leave, you're supposed to drive like different places and stuff because if there is a chance of a spirit following you, like what happened with Beep. Right, you can kind of throw them off your tail. Interesting too, because I
always do that when we're going home.
Yeah, you said that. Mace said this. He said, "Oh, no, what do you say? Oh, let's take a route, yeah, so that they don't follow us." Is that what you said?
Take a different route. But what I'll do is I won't go the normal way I go home. I'll take side streets and go around the wrong block a couple times.
And so...
Well, we used to always, in the older days, we used to always go to Macaulay's Zippies and drop all our attachments over there. There must be so much ghost in the parking lot over there.
Oh, you know why? Yeah. I wonder if we'll ever meet Beep. But anyway, besides meeting Beep, because we do in our own way when we go out, we we hear him just telling us that he's around and everything. Out of all of the investigations we've done, Mace, and I really am looking forward to trying that and maybe doing a drive around one night as a small little live stream and all that too. Out of everything that we've done, what to you was the best night out for an investigation? What was the best time that you had?
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
The first time I took you, we went up to Spooky Lot.
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
I have to agree. That one was pretty damn good. It's
Even though I got scratched that night, but
oh hell yeah! Shit, let's talk about that. You got scratched. I mean, that kind of stuff happens. You know, I've been lucky. I've had minor type of abrasions that I know that are from violent spirits and stuff. But that happened one night. Well, that night, right? That night you got scratched.
I had the 3 bloody scratches going down the center of my back.
Yep. Usually, when that happens, for me, when a spirit interacts with your physical being, there's some kind of sensation that the spirit is touching you. Usually, it's spider webs or something like that. But the actual scratches burn, man. They freaking burn. They really do. So yeah, that's what happened too. So tantalus the first time. That is really really cool. So just to let you guys
That's the night
know,
you told me you had some place you wanted to show me, and I said, no, I got one place I want to show you too.
yes, you
And
did.
it ended up being the same place.
Yeah, yeah.
We didn't even know each other back. We just met.
Yes, yes. Well, those are interesting years in social media and the paranormal, the emergence of the paranormal on social media itself. And so the platform worked out fairly well, and it continues to do so. And I really like YouTube and doing videos with you folks on YouTube because it's as close as you get to experiencing everything at once. You know, because I mean, I tell you the truth, man. When we went back to Pro City the second time, and my camera started to do the same damn thing in the same place where that earthbound spirit was, I was already thinking like, God, this is just further proof that these simple things produce wonderful results and everything. And even that night with your spirit box, it produced wonderful results. So just on to bigger things. I'm looking forward to doing these new things and stuff. I did do Mililani Cemetery Road before, so I'm gonna probably say April, May. If you guys are up to it, then we'll just go hang out there and see what happens, and to compare before we close things out. And again, Mace, thank you for being here tonight. For Mililani Cemetery Road, what I think Glenn Grant was saying, the eyewitness accounts of everything there, is that the spirits that walk along the side of the road at night towards the cemetery. I think a few may have. I'm not 100% that left the cemetery as well, but it's a fairly active thoroughway for spirits. So I think a really good solid spirit box session would be good for that. So again, I will contact you and Kaleo, and then we will see whoever else wants to chime in with that, and we can do that as well. And then that school that you were talking about, I don't know nothing about the school though. That you're talking about the middle school.
Park. Yeah, it's right on the corner from my house.
People say that there's weird things going on over there too.
Oh, it's the middle of Mililani Malka, so
Oh shit.
should it's something in the middle of that field.
Yeah, that's true. Now, at least we went to go check.
Cemetery Road.
Yeah.
My question is, I wonder if there's anything happening in Core Ridge, because the old Mililani Cemetery Road is now Core Ridge,
Okay.
one that's off Camp Highway.
Should we do that one? Can you get there?
New development in there now. But
Oh.
now the new cemetery road comes off stage 2.
Okay. Well.
The original road went all the way down to Camp Highway, where it had the 2 moss rock walls and the arch going over. But that's all gone now. It's all new townhouses and stuff. So that the old road is now the main road going into Core Ridge.
Well, interesting thing then to look at.
Yeah.
The stories that were shared. Did they actually take place at this other road? It's just like they talk about one of my big places to go and visit only because of the connection I've established with it and stuff is like up at like the Old Putty Drive and stuff like that. Um, you just kind of like give yourself over to it and just see what happens. And usually when you do that, you get the best results because we did do Mililani Cemetery Road, and I am not sure if that's the right one. But because we gave ourselves over to Lori was there that night. I know you were talking about Lori earlier. Lori was having spirit talks with some of the spirits there, and it seemed to be a very active location. But it's because everyone was so in sync and not hesitating in doing that, which is not an easy thing to do. You just can't say, well, I'm just going to let the spirits do stuff and we'll just be there an eyewitness, because sometimes it's a bit more than that with what you ask for. You bite off more than you can chew. So I'm definitely looking forward to um, exploring that, because now you got me thinking, Mace. You really got me thinking if that. Oh, well, I was going to
So
say,
I'm kind of like get
what's that?
load Yoshi up in a truck and go take a drive down there to name it the Spirit Bus.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. No, why not? And I'm just, I mean, I don't know what to say about it. No, I mean, I get it. I do. I understand. That's interesting that you bring that
Very
up.
easy to do. Drive around with the Spirit Box blasting in the stereo in the car
Mm.
on the Bluetooth.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, what I was going to say about Morgan's Corner. So I've established stuff with that. I've had interesting things in the past, but interesting that you talk about what everything else earlier with the Mililani Cemetery Road theory, because according to what people believe, and it's been mentioned before several times, there's four Morgan's Corners. And that's why I brought up Morgan's Corner. There's two of them are on my side, well, um, going towards the actual uh, area of New Windward. Then the other two are in different locations. One of them is actually in, was it Quinea, I think? There's four freaking Morgan's Corners. Four of them. So the idea of what
But the
you're.
opposite is the one right around the by the where's the place where I always go to? By the trail.
Oh,
By
okay.
Dr. Morgan's house. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
yes.
old poly side, because it's still in the corner. I used to always have car crashes, and Dr. Morgan used to come out and help.
Yeah, that's right. Is that near the hairpin turn or something? Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
The
yeah. It's
crashes.
quite a light.
Yeah, the crashes over there and stuff. Man, haven't gone there for a long time. But yeah, I believe that whole idea. So I want to test that theory. Now you got me thoroughly wanting to know a little bit more if it's the actual original, or if that's become the new spirit highway where spirits travel to and stuff like that. But in any event, man, that thank you for sharing these stories that kind of like make me want to do a little bit more again with like investigating new places. Like if even we could be near some of these places that we have discussed tonight, I'd be very happily engaged in seeing what kind of evidence I can produce from it, and then share
So
with the
thinking the
people
whole
there.
park would be perfect because like it's in the middle of everything. So maybe we can get lucky and find a vortex or something.
And where?
The middle of the middle school park.
Oh, okay,
It's by my
okay.
house.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You know, dude, you just
Too
never
close to
know.
my house so I can make dinner.
Ah, there you go. By the way, guys, in case you're wondering, as we start to wrap things up here, but like freaking incredible, some of the stuff that I'm thinking about doing in the future that you've provided for me tonight. Let's talk about Mace Minakawa online presence and go with your social media. I know that for a long time you had your personal profile, but talking about cooking dinner and stuff like that, we that go out with Mace, okay, great cook, man. I mean, seriously, guy can cook. But tell us about what you've been doing on Facebook, your project. It's a place where people can gather and talk about food and everything, right?
Oh, my page. It's 808 Homemade Grinds on Facebook.
Yeah, you guys should go
So now
on.
so you can join and just gotta read the rules and say I agree, and then we'll let you in. Basically, it's just a place for people to post their dinner or whatever they made at home for their meals,
Just when
and
we,
everybody shares recipes and stuff like a lot of comfort food.
yeah, just a lot of really striking visual dishes too and everything. So yeah, you guys want to.
Yeah, a lot of my high school classmates are real good cooks also, and they're good at taking pictures, man.
Yeah,
They're
there's
professional.
Good stuff, man. Really good stuff. So besides everything else, I kind of look forward to Mace showing up and just look because he's always like, guess who takes all of this home? I'm like, oh shit, all right, man. It's okay if I put on 5 pounds tomorrow. It was worth it. It was a great night of investigation and everything.
A
So,
perpetual square.
oh yeah, for
We're
real.
much we're back. We'll take it home again.
Shit, yeah, dude. The last one was what, chili? We had chili or something. It's great. You guys, it's so great when we go out. It really is. And so again, I look forward to new things next month. I think we can have a discussion and decide. I really think that if that is the first one, the first Milani Cemetery Road, then that might be the one that everyone talks about in the stories. But we will find out, ladies and gentlemen.
We check all of them out.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then whatever else comes along the way, folks, you will definitely be informed of. You will actually have the opportunity, again, like I said before, when Mason, Kaleo, or people like Joe Punoho, Faye Okamoto, and stuff, sometimes our crew gets a little big. But when people like that come out, usually it just turns out to be a wonderful experience for the audience because they are front and center when we're doing this and they get to experience it along with us. And I love not editing. I'm the anti-editor when it comes to this stuff because I think people should have that very raw experience. So look forward to more of these type of presentations. If this is what you like, please stop by. If you would like to also again share any stories for this channel, contact me. Contact me, guys. And again, 808 Homemade Grinds on Facebook for Mace. But contact me. I'm also on Facebook. I'm a Facebook presence. You can contact me at Ghosts of Hawaii, hosted, not haunted, by Obaki Hunter. And I promise you, I'm real. Okay? This is not an empty room with some fucking glowing figure going, Mace, you're pretty cool. I'm not Beep. Check us out,
No,
though.
every time
Huh?
all I see is a floating hoodie with no face.
Ah, god dang it. There went my perfect sleeping pattern. It's gone now. Mace just eradicated it by saying that.
I'm not really sure if Obake is real. I just see the floating hoodie.
Fuck. Dude, I remember
These
how.
days, I'm gonna make you an avatar.
God dang, that would be so cool. I like what you did for Halloween. That outfit was phenomenal. That this past year one, that was great. Oh my god. Guys, trust us, we have fun when we do these things, It's not all just flashlights and turning on recorders and everything else and snapping photographs. It's just company and fellowship. So I've been very privileged once again. And not only do I want to say thank you to Mace Minakawa, I also want to say thank you to all of our people that serve in blue and go out into, just like what Mace said, sometimes you got to really put everything together and not just think ghosts and think, sometimes they run into great danger in the work they do. And it's not buttering up the position because it's a hard thing to do, but it's a very noble thing. People lose their lives in this field, so big thanks to shout out to Mace for sharing what he has done so far with us in the paranormal and sharing some of his more personal stories. And I will always be haunted in a good way by this story that Mace shared when he actually showed his kindness and broke this cycle that the spirit was caught up in and was allowed to be set free. So, we learned so much from each other. I'm very, very lucky. Very, very privileged, guys. And so check out Mace on Facebook. We will definitely be doing more investigations. Mace is, I think, more or less the driving force behind spirit boxes, but he does other stuff too. But I know that that's a forte of yours too. So check it out, guys, for real.
So
Yeah,
Lopaka's new book is coming out April 7th.
yeah,
It's called Kahuna.
yeah.
So I think you can get it on Amazon and on Kindle. I got mine reserved already. So.
Oh, awesome. Well, and in the old days with Lopaka, and then let's reference Lopaka because I was thinking before I came on tonight, like I knew Lopaka back when he was, really branching off from, but yet continuing the love that his teachers taught him about stories and everything. When he's come a long way, and I thoroughly respect everything he has put into this field. And the reason why I bring up with what Mace said is because I remember back in the day, Lopaka was talking about writing books. And, after seeing his tours and stuff, I'm like, you know what, this would just, I didn't have to think twice, right? This would work. And it does, guys. It works really well. There's Mysteries of Honolulu and a couple of other books that are out there on the Kindle's marketplace. And then also now, I think appearing in other places as well. All well deserved. All well deserved. So check out his Night Marcher book and Kahuna as well that is coming out. It's really good, and I think you'll all love it. And again, thank you so much for being here. You guys matter. You guys rock. You guys really, really rock. You come on, you ask questions, you talk. The numbers are inching up slowly but surely. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers. Thank you all very much for that. Please, if you like what you hear, like and subscribe. And if you want to share more with me, if it's a story, whatever else, you can do it in the comment section down below, or you can head on over to Facebook, which what I've shared with you, or at my email. Once again, obakehunter51@gmail.com. OBAKEHUN as in nickel, TER 51@gmail.com. Shout me out on there if you like. Shout me out over here. And we will be doing more interviews. I'm already formulating some new things that should be coming out. Faye Okamoto will be joining us in the dark. And for those of you that are new to my channel, this is called A Talk in the Dark. No distractions at all. Just me and you and guests and our subject matter that brings us all back over and over again to talk about these things. So check it out, guys. If you're new to this channel, I do a Talk in the Dark interviews, and I'll do live streams and share thoughts and opinions on the paranormal. We also do other things like investigations. So I try to mix it up and keep things going in that way. And I appreciate you folks liking it. Like and subscribe. And if you know people that really are into paranormal investigations or fascinating guests like Mace Minakawa as well, let them know about it. And I look forward to talking to you all again, which should be in a couple of weeks. I think next will be the Mothman encounter, or someone shared a Mothman encounter with me on Facebook. That popped up in my DM. So I went and I looked at it, and I was intrigued. So Faye Okamoto is coming back, and she's going to tell us about some weirdness that she encountered at Hawaiian Memorial Cemetery, and something in her video that was caught up in the sky. Were a lot of weird
Faye got
things.
some good stories.
Oh, Faye gets some good. Faye comes out too. Yeah, sometimes she comes out once in a while. She will come
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
and she will hang out with us too and stuff. What's interesting too, in closing too, Mace, is oh wait, can we talk about this? I'm sorry, I'm glad Mace didn't leave. Mace, as far as you and Yoshi and everything, we're talking about family spirits, and it's another great story. Um, Once a year, something happens in your house, right?
Yeah, maybe twice a year.
Twice a year. Twice a year. Okay. Yeah.
Usually my mom's birthday and the day she passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So Yoshi will get up in the middle. We stay up late. We're always up till like 4 in the morning. So Yoshi will get up and he'll walk up to the bottom of the stairwell and he'll sit down. He'll just stare up at the ceiling, and then the light in the hallway and the stairwell goes on. It's like,
Wow.
hi, Mom.
That's a
He
great.
doesn't freak out. He just sits there. He's just staring and he's having a grand old time. So I think it's just my mom visiting, and he sees her.
Did your mom ever tell you that she would come back and check up on you and stuff, or
Oh, yeah.
no?
Yeah.
She did.
Right before she died, she told me, "Don't go to the graveyard to come see me because I'm not there." She was just talk to me. I'm always around. So I guess that's her way of reminding me that she's still around.
Wow.
And
Hey,
Yoshi always tracks her first. He knows where she is.
hey, he's an incredible dog,
So
man.
he'll go and sit down before the light goes on.
Right.
When he's sitting there, I know, oh, the light's gonna go on.
That is so cool. Like clockwork almost. How many years has she been gone?
26.
And she usually visits on those days.
Her birthday and the day she passed away.
Oh.
It was just this past 2 weeks ago, March 13th.
That's her birthday. Or her passing.
That's the day she passed away.
Okay, so that
So
happened.
like, yeah, the lights did go on. Everybody asked me, so did the lights go on? Yeah, they did.
Wow. Animals are a great judge of character, whether or not you're still human or if you're on the other side, totally, a spirit now. And yeah, that's good. I'm sure that he would have loved to have met your mom too. And
Oh yeah, Yoshi's
yeah,
he's very in tune to that kind of stuff.
there's another thing
Some nights
too.
we'll up,
Was that?
take him up to go use the bathroom, and it's like 2 in the morning. And most nights he's fine. We'll just go halfway around the block, and some nights we get out of the driveway. He goes, does his business, and he'll just stare into the dark up the street and starts growling.
Ooh.
So I put Lauren down. She came over, she teleported thing, and she did her thing, and she said, "Oh yeah, there's something in the middle of the street." So that she sees this like 15-foot tall shadow just standing in the middle of the street. So I was like, oh, "Okay, we're going back in the house now."
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you telling me that. And in case you guys are wondering who Lori Nagata is, what her original name was, I forget what her name is now.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. Lori, along with Marie Hathaway, another fantastic mods from the past and present at the Ghosts of Hawaii, went to the Zach Bagans Museum, and they were kind enough. I think it was like near my birthday or something. They gave me that as a present. Oh, put this video on your Ghosts of Hawaii page. So Lori's in there as well. They're both extremely, not only extremely nice people, but extremely talented as well, in what they've done in the past. And so, you know what, Mace? I think Lori would be a good guest. Let's see what I have to do to bribe her with food, Mace. We'll make her a pot of chili or something. Maybe she'll do something. But yeah, that's so cool. I think that's a great way to kind of like end this incredible journey of visiting places that you have experienced things in, and also gives me ideas for wanting to do new things. Up next, Mililani Cemetery Road, everyone. Great way to end the show. And to all of you out there, thank you so much for watching. Look forward to new investigations. Like I mentioned, there's also going to be I want to do the Mothman show. I don't know what this person saw, but it sounded like Mothman. And every once in a while, the weirdness doesn't just go out there into, whatever is going on with communities here in Hawaii, but sometimes the weirdness shows up in my messenger. And I get these stories. So there's definitely a collaboration between Faye Okamoto and the possibility that there's something out there in the night, guys. So, when you go to bed, there's no reason to look out your windows. Trust me, you may not like what you see, and that's okay. Some things are better left alone. Although, there are great things, like a light going off in Mace's house, and it's his mom. I love that kind of stuff. Everybody out there, thank you so much for being here this evening. I've wanted to do this with Mace for the longest time. Once in a while we would talk. I said, Mace, you got to get on the horn and be there with me, and we got to talk about our past experiences. Because there's even stuff that we haven't talked about yet. Like, we kind of mentioned it, but there's some crazy stuff going on, and then, poof, something happens. And I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a round two at some point. Always, dude, always.
Or should I say, something will always find us.
The way you said that, it just made me feel so warm inside, although it could be my acid reflux. My heartburn. Okay, guys, let me take a last look here at who's in the audience this evening. Again, thank you, everyone, for showing up and being here. I really appreciate each and every one of you chiming in and saying hi and everything else. Amazing to see you, Boogie. I have not seen you in ages, my friend. Hopefully you're doing very well. Nice to see my mods out there. You guys are all incredible people, and you just keep everything going the way it should be on this channel. I will see you all again soon. Oh, and by the way, look forward to be dropping the other two Tantless videos that are coming up. I think there's also the Flux video in that. So look for the Flux video as well. Sometimes we do tend to be very spirit box oriented. Also, in case you are been in my channel for a number of years, before I say goodnight to all of you, we will be returning. And since it's a spirit box specific event, I invite Mace Minakawa to come down as well. If you want to take a little trip down Waikiki, we will be going to Kapiolani Park. You want to talk about a place that's haunted? Ask Lopaka Kapanui about Kapiolani Park. And he has a lot of stuff to say about it. Lots of stuff to say about it. But we're going to be going to the back of Kapiolani Park. Kapiolani Park. I already talked to Faye about it. I was going to talk to Mace about it because it's spirit box centric in nature. We're going to be doing a spirit box session back there. In the back of Kapiolani Park is the infamous La Pietra school, or whatever it is in today's world. And we went there before, so some of these are revisits. And we're going to be running a spirit box as close as we can get to that source, and at the same time show respect, because that was a heiau. So look forward to that too, guys. And I invite Mace Minakawa right now. If you want to come up with that too, dude, we're going to go out there and we're going to hang out in the back. And with your equipment, I think it should be very interesting. And also let's see if Beep knows anything about Kapiolani Park. You never know. He might even say something for once.
He'll probably show up.
He probably will. Well, what was it? Let me see real quick. Real quick.
I think he lives in my spirit box, actually.
Could be, especially if Yoshi looks at it late at night, and then the lights go off. No, only my mom can do that. How to find you again? Lost our original. Really? What happened? What happened? Boogie. Good to see you again. I'm sorry to hear about your channel. Your channel is very successful. Very. And closing to Mace, I throw out this idea. Then I'm gonna say goodnight to everybody. Look forward to all the new stuff that's coming up on Ghosts of Hawaii. Like and subscribe. Feel like leaving comments. Do that as well. I do answer them as best as I can and as quickly as I can, because you guys ask good questions. But as far as everything else goes and is concerned here, does that interest you? The Kapilani Park thing? I never brought you along for that. We should do it. Yeah, we should do it. Because in the back there, we went, Mace, right? Remember the time we went in the back of by the archery range? You were there, right? And it was Eric Fong and everything.
No, I didn't go that.
You didn't go to that? You didn't go that time? Okay. So Eric Fong was there one time, and they went in the back, and there's a lot of energy back there, a lot of weirdness. So, yeah, that sounds good. Guys, thank you again, Mace. You are amazing. Never change, my friend. And keep what you're doing on Facebook, because when I see your posts, it's the only time I want to grab a fork and stab it at my screen to see if I can get anything. I feel frustrated. But guys, thank you so much for being here. Ghosts of Hawaii. And Mace, hold on. We'll share a little bit more when we sign off from here. What is it? What? Mace paranormal stuff happens at, well, yeah, it's true. What is it? At New Year's for me. Huh? Was that Mace?
I wouldn't doubt on New Year's Eve, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. And so, like I said, hauntings can be very specific on certain dates and stuff. We've mentioned in the past shows and everything. Guys, take care, yeah. Mace did such a great job tonight, and thank you for everything you said, Mace, including what you said earlier that threw me off, and I have to revisit my sleep patterns and find new things to do. But I think this channel can cause that to happen, that people will listen to some things and go, well, I guess sleep comes later than usual. Guys, it's so good to see all of you. Please look forward to updates that are coming up. Look forward to the 2 videos that are going to be dropping within the next day or 2 or so, as far as Tantless goes, and that kind of will wind things down with Tantless. Then we're going to wind things up in Mililani and other locations that we will be visiting as well. It would be really cool to just drive around with Mace one night and say, yeah, over here, this is where weird things happen. And I'm all about the weird. That's why this channel exists. Good night, everyone. Ghosts of Hawaii, you're home for a dose of ghosts. And you know what? Good night, Grandma. You take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Be at peace. And for your mom as well, Mace. Good night, everyone. Take care. Talk to you all again soon. Yeah, good night. Thank you again. And we'll see you all.